Hi everyone, welcome back to Gastronomy Games. Today we are continuing our brunch journey with a highlight on preservation techniques by making a smoked salmon sandwich with homemade dill creme fraiche and red wine vinegar pickles. This sandwich is deliciously elegant, and making creme fraiche and pickled vegetables are two great tools to add to your arsenal. So without any further ado, let's head to the kitchen. We're going to start with our creme fraiche. In a clean cup or jar, pour 2 cups of heavy cream and 3 tablespoons of buttermilk. Cover tightly with cheesecloth and keep out of the fridge for 24 hours before storing in the fridge for another 24 hours before use. The high fat content and cultures in the buttermilk will make it relatively inhospitable to harmful bacteria, but if it takes on any peculiar color, smell, or if there is visible mold growth, discard it before eating. Homemade creme fraiche not only tastes better than store-bought, it can also be made at a fraction of the price. As you can see, after 48 hours, our cream has magically thickened to the consistency of sour cream. If you would like it slightly thicker, keep it in the same container in your fridge for another day. Otherwise, transfer it to an airtight container, and it should keep about 2 weeks for you. Next, it's time to make our pickles. In a saucepan, combine 1 cup water, 1 cup red wine vinegar, 4 bay leaves, 4 smashed garlic cloves, 2 sliced shallots, 1 tablespoon of whole black peppercorns, 1/3 of a cup of sugar, and a tablespoon of salt. Bring this to a boil on high heat. I'd recommend keeping the ratios of your pickling agents, the water, vinegar, sugar, and salt, consistent until you get more comfortable pickling, but I encourage you to experiment with different types of vinegars, aromatics, and the vegetables you are pickling. I personally like my pickles to be relatively thin, but still crunchy, so I usually shoot to cut the cucumbers roughly the thickness of a nickel. I am quite comfortable using my knife, so I use my chef knife to cut them, but if you are not as comfortable, you can always use a mandolin. Our pickling liquid has come to a simmer and all that sugar has been dissolved, so we've filled a clean jar with the cucumbers. Now we're just going to pour the pickling liquid over top, ensuring that it completely covers the cucumbers. We're going to let this cool to room temperature before throwing our lid back on top. As soon as they're cool, you can eat them, but they will taste even better if you give them 24 hours to age in your fridge. Next, we are going to make a quick sauce using our creme fraiche. We're going to mix about a tablespoon of fresh chopped dill with the zest of 1 lemon. Now, whenever you're zesting citrus, use the microplane upside down. That way you can ensure that you're not going too deep into that bitter white pith underneath the layer of zest. Going to add about 2 heaping tablespoons of our creme fraiche. Salt and pepper to taste. Remember, with all of our recipes, this is just a template. Make sure you make these dishes to your palate. And then we're just going to finish this off with about a 1/2 tablespoon of Dijon mustard. Next up, we're going to prep our bread. We're using a French-style sub roll. You can use any style of bread you wish. You can also, of course, use the traditional bagel for a bagel and lox sandwich. But we are going to start by drizzling the inside of our roll with garlic oil, which we have as a byproduct of making confit garlic, which we will cover in a later video. We're going to toast it at 350 until it's crisp on the outside. If you don't have garlic oil, you can use regular oil and rub the inside of the bread with a peeled garlic clove after it's toasted. Finally, all that's left is assembling our sandwich. We are going pretty simple today by just using our sauce, our homemade pickles, and smoked salmon. However, arugula, raw shallot, tomatoes, or any other garnishes you'd wish to add would also make great additions. You can also use these same ingredients for a brunch spread or a charcuterie board by cutting your bread into crostinis and toasting it at 350 until they're golden brown. Then you can simply serve them on a platter with your salmon, pickles, and creme fraiche sauce. You can also chop up these pickles and add it to your sauce for an interesting take on a tartar sauce. If you were to add a little bit of red wine vinegar and a little bit of brown sugar to our sauce, it would make an excellent dressing for a celery root and apple slaw, which is sure to impress anybody for a summer picnic. I hope you learned a little something and enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing. Please also consider following the rest of our social media in the credits of this video. I hope you have a terrific day, and I can't wait to cook with you all again soon.